Good day to you all. Yes, you've clicked on this video because you've probably heard about the news of what Parkrun announced recently. And you may be one of multiple camps. You may be angry, not so angry, or meh, whatever. But in this video, unlike all the others that have already been produced up to now, very professional videos, I must say, by some people, I'm doing this from a perspective of me as a park runner who holds various course records yet in my age category. So I've been directly affected by this, and I'm just going to give you my viewpoints, but I'm going to cover three areas. I'm going to tell you what they've gone through, what the changes are. I'm going to talk about my particular opinion on these changes. And then number three, I'll go through at the very end some positive ways that you can take action. To kick things off, how long have I been parkrunning? What have I taken part in? Yes, I mentioned that I hold some course records. Now for me, I didn't know anything about course records till years after I'd been running. So my first parkrun was in June 2016, where I didn't have a clue what it was, and I rocked up and I thought it was a race. So when I turned up, I just went all guns blazing with my camera, as you do. And I'll put a link in the description to my first parkrun. But I ran a sub 20, yes. I think it was 19 minutes and 56. But yeah, so that was my first parkrun. Great experience, loved meeting people, filmed lots of people, had a great chat. And since then I've been in touch with a lot of runners who are still doing parkrun and races around the world. I've taken part so far in 71 parkruns. I've also volunteered at over 31 parkruns I've volunteered at. So you could say I've done over 100 parkruns. No big deal in the grand scale of things compared to many thousands of people around the world who have done 300, 400, 500, 600 parkruns. Yep, which is fantastic. Yeah, so that's a bit of background about me. In terms of the volunteering, I've been to over a dozen venues, and I think I've volunteered. I think I've done 15 different venues following last Saturday. 15 different venues, but I've done more different venues volunteering at. So you could say I've volunteered at more locations than ran at. But I do enjoy both. I love the sense of being part of a team, a group when you're volunteering, and also when it comes to the run itself. And also I do get it because I often turn up and do runs which I call as a jiggy jog. So I'm not going all out racing. And I appreciate that Parkrun says it's not a race, but more about that later. So that's my background, but what has Parkrun done? Well, if you don't know, I think this is why you've clicked on it. They've removed all age category records, all gender records, all basically course records, timings, you name it, anything that shows any comparisons with people has been taken away. I think they've left on there your own personal time so you can compare yourself. Often they say comparison is the thief of joy. Now, often if we compare ourselves to how we were, I found the statistics useful for me, how I was progressing and improving. And also being competitive, aren't we all? Being competitive, I'd like to see how I compare in that and so on. So when I heard about this, I felt a bit miffed, to be honest. I thought, what are you doing? And when I heard they're doing it for the purpose of inclusivity, because apparently this is what Parkrun have said, and you can correct me in the comments below if I'm misquoting them, but they've said that it turns people off having these course records, which I don't understand, because when I first took part in a parkrun, I didn't know these records existed. It wasn't until years down the road that someone told me, oh, Donato, do you know you've got the course record for this and that? I didn't know. So it wasn't a big deal for me, but it did become a bit of a big deal because I could look at other parkruns and see, well, actually I could give it a go in this one, see if I can get the course record if I'm on form. So that was my competitive side. And as I say, I think everybody in some way is competitive. That's in our DNA. That's what I believe. So I'm going to read something here from Athletics Weekly where they've quoted Parkrun. And what they've said is that Parkrun has always prided itself on its non-competitive element and describes its events as recreational running or walking with courses roughly 5 km in distance and often not accurately measured. Well, my answer to that is if it's non-competitive and not accurately measured, and I gather that courses can change anyway over time, is why are the records from Parkrun then translated to the Power of 10 and Run Britain rankings? Now, for those of you who don't know, in layman's terms, it's basically statistics for you as an athlete, which a lot of clubs use them in terms of when they do races and also when they do some type of competitive races to give people a bit of an edge or balance things out. A bit like horse racing. When you have handicap horse racing, you'll handicap athletes on a particular basis on a race based on their Power of 10 rankings or Run Britain rankings. And that way, when the clubs race, you're allowing almost par for par, yeah? Similar to handicap racing in horse racing. Does that make sense? So that's my question, is if not competitive, why is it in the Power of 10? Yeah, you can still keep your records and still keep the stats on Parkrun, but not transfer them over. And I am aware that a number of elite athletes, when they do a particular run, they step off. So you see a lot of results where it says unknown, 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 especially towards the front at the sharp end. I'll say unknown, it's not that they've forgotten their barcode, it's they don't want their time recorded that gets transferred to the Power of 10. Don't know if you knew that, but yeah, there's a bit of random fact for you. Also, by removing these statistics, I've been told, and again, I'm not a medical doctor, but I've been told that the statistics is used often for gamification in the form of stats, helps people with ASD and ADHD and allows them to feel a bit more included and in terms of what's going on. So by removing them, you're actually excluding that group. Doesn't make sense, really. So when I read that a global working group had got together and come up with this decision, the question to Parkrun, and you guys can ask this, is how many were in the working group, what countries were involved, and at what level was the input given in? Because obviously they've made this decision. It's taken a long time to come up with this decision. And they say it's because people were put off, new people. So they clearly want to encourage new people to join, which is great. I love it. I encourage people all the time. I produce a video almost every week now from a particular parkrun that I'm at or have been at in previous weeks. That's how much I love Parkrun. In fact, I love it so much. Look at these. These are my times chips that I've bought, and I've supported Parkrun in every way I can. That's why when I go to volunteer, I'm supporting Parkrun. So I'm very much a supporter of Parkrun. But this decision seems a bit, well, what can you say, eh? In conclusion, what can you do positively, or what might some people regard as negatively, you know, and I'd love to hear your comments below, is one, you can sign a petition. I'm sure there's many petitions going around, but I'll leave a link in the description to one that was sent to me by a volunteer from Parkrun, and you can sign that, and it's called the Save the Spirit of Achievement. Yeah, so you can sign that petition. I think at the time they were looking for about 7,000 signatories. I think it's up to about 6,000, and it will gain momentum. So you can sign that petition. Another way you can help and positive is to write to the sponsors directly. And I've seen on the website there's 4 sponsors, 4 supporters. There's Vitality, Co-op, With You and Brooks. You can write to these organisations expressing your feelings about their latest decision, and that you won't continue to use their products whilst they support what Parkrun has done, because by them sponsoring Parkrun, they are endorsing their actions. That's how I see it. If they don't endorse the actions, surely they would remove the sponsorship, would they not? Maybe I'm oversimplifying things. So there you have it, guys and gals. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, and keep it all reasonable, please, of what your views are with this change of removing all the records, time records, course records, age, gender records. Thank you so much for watching. Love to hear from you. Comments below. Chit chat. Remember, keep it light or keep it serious. And I'll see you, who knows, at a parkrun local to you.